What's up, everyone, and welcome back to a special emergency podcast edition of the PG Pirates Show, presented by FanDuel. My name's Colin Beazley. I'm here with my good friend Noah Hiles. Spoke to you earlier today with Jason Mackey, but we've got news. The Pirates have signed first baseman / outfielder / designated hitter Ryan O'Hearn to a 2-year, $29 million contract pending physical. It is a major free agent signing, one of the most major ones that Pirate fans have had in a long time. First multi-year free agent signing since 2016. There's a whole lot to unpack here, so I'm glad that Noah's here with me. Noah, what do you think about this signing?
They got better. Like we talked about the last time you and I were on the show, Colin. They got better when they traded for Lowe, Mangum, and Montgomery. We said the next item was a multi-year free agent, and they did that. This is an all-star. They've now added 2 all-stars in the last week. I think if you told Pirate fans at the end of the regular season, when Travis Williams was stuttering over his words and saying full stop period 30 times in a row, if you told them then that they'd be adding the likes of Brandon Lowe and Ryan O'Hearn along with a top 100 prospect, a guy who hit 296 as a rookie and was a plus defender at all 3 outfield spots, and a left-handed reliever project who throws 100, and they did all of that before Christmas Day, no one would have believed you. I'm not saying that this team is World Series bound. I'm not even saying that they're a playoff team yet, but this is the best offseason already that Ben Cherington has had in 7 years as the Pirates general manager. And there's still a lot more room to grow. They have more money to spend. They have not traded away any of their prospects yet. This is starting to become a pretty promising picture, Bees.
Yeah, I completely agree. Really the simplest thing was what you said first. They got better. This is a signing that makes them better. And I will say, like, on one hand, it's hard to sign a free agent and get worse. However, this is a guy who's not a dumpster dive. He's not someone who you're spending $4 million for 1 year. He's someone that other teams were interested in signing. This isn't like someone like say Tommy Pham, where it was late in the offseason and guy was looking to play somewhere. This is someone who had options. This is someone who signed a $29 million contract for 2 years with incentives. This is someone that other teams wanted. I think that he's someone that he's going to play basically every day. There's a lot of different things that he can do. We'll get into that in a little bit. But this is someone who will play well at PNC Park because he's a left-handed bat. There's just a lot to like about it.
Yeah, and I think you just look at the lineup and the way it's filling out right now. I mean, they're addressing spot by spot. I mean, you could put O'Hearn at designated hitter. He could take an outfield spot, and then Reynolds is your everyday DH. You could put him at first base, and Spencer Horwitz is your DH, or maybe you platoon Horwitz and Reynolds as a DH. You could do so many different things with them. And Colin, I feel like there are some people who, on the outside, they see Pirate fans reacting to Ryan O'Hearn like they just signed Shohei Ohtani. And obviously, this is a slightly above average baseball player. That's all they got. But that's what they should be looking to acquire right now. If this offense can be league average, they're a playoff team. They are, because their pitching is that good and has the potential to be, I think, even better next year with a full season of Bubba Chandler, a full season of Braxton Ashcraft, with Jared Jones returning. You're going to have a very, very good starting rotation. Your bullpen should be average at worst, I think. And then this lineup, you look at what the Cincinnati Reds achieved last year. They had a worse pitching staff than the Pirates. Their offense was better, still wasn't good, but was better. And they were able to sneak into the playoffs. This team, if all goes well, could probably win 83 games as currently assembled. Now, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates. There's no scenario where everything goes well. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get suspended. Something bad's going to happen somewhere. But that's why you keep adding depth pieces to prepare for that, right? To account for, the bumps and bruises that come along the road of a 162-game season. That's why they need to keep adding. But right now, they've added, I think, two established guys who are at worst, I think, league average hitters. and they've added a young left field platoon that I think can combine to be a league average hitter. So they've improved a third of their lineup just right there. They have the number one prospect in baseball who's going to be their everyday starting shortstop. You would assume that he's probably going to be able to perform at an average level. So right there, almost half your lineup is improved. Does that make Oneil Cruz better? Does that make Bryan Reynolds better? We'll find out. If it does, then this team is going to be something, to pay attention to. I still think, again, they're a couple moves away, but the goal here for what they have, the way this team's built, a team that's built to win on pitching, their goal is to just get the league's worst offense to being an average offense. If you can make that jump in one offseason, this is a team that can contend and get to the playoffs. I don't think they're there yet, but I don't think they're that far away. Colin, do you?
I agree. I don't think they're that far away. And I agree with what you're saying that O'Hearn is at worst a league average bat. Like worst case scenario, if he plays, he's going to be league average. And that's something that helps the Pirates. Getting some sort of production out of whether it's left field or whether it's DH can only be an upgrade on last season when they didn't get very much out of their left fielder and their designated hitter. I will say, though, that he's more than an average player. Like he was an all-star. Yeah. He batted, I think it was 285. Homers weren't necessarily his game, but this was certainly an above average bat. I think that it's worth giving him that credit. But at a bare minimum, he helped the Pirates get better. I also think that they have a lot of options here with his different positional versatility. He played a lot of DH, played a lot of first base, played a lot of the outfield. Where do you project him? Where do you think he could slot in? How would you use him if you were in the Pirates roles?
Yeah, I mean, at first glance, I just assume you slot him into DH. I think that's probably where he played most of his games last year, or I could be wrong. I could be way off on that. I just felt like he got a lot of repetition at DH. You know the answer, so go ahead and say it.
I can give you that because, I did just write about it. I also immediately clicked out of it. But I believe he had 76 at first base. He had about 50 at designated hitter, and he had about 25 roughly in the outfield, primarily in right field.
Okay. So, I mean, I would look at his defensive metrics, and if he's a better defender than Bryan Reynolds, then yeah, Bryan Reynolds is my everyday DH. I think that's an easy decision. I like Spencer Horwitz at first base. I don't think there's a reason to move away from him there. Now, you could give him some off days. Like, I don't think you have a reason to ever play Spencer Horwitz against the left-handed pitcher. And in those games, then you play O'Hearn at first, you move Reynolds to right, and then you find a right-handed bat to play in your DH spot. It could be Nick Gonzalez, could be, Lowe playing DH, and then who's not a right-handed bat, but is going to play every game. And then you play Nick Gonzalez at second. They have a lot of positional flexibility here with how they can use Lowe, with how they can use O'Hearn. They have two young outfielders who can play all three spots out there as well. I mean, maybe we see Oneil Cruz get moved around. I mean, they have Triolo who can play everywhere. Nick Gonzalez saw a little bit of positional flexibility toward the end of the year. You reported in winter meetings that Joey Bart could see some time at first base. I'll be interested to see what their starting nine, their most consistent starting nine looks like if no other moves are made. Because, you have a lot of guys who can play multiple positions, and it's figuring out the best gel for those nine. But as far as I look at it, the way things currently stand, if O'Hearn's a better fielder than Reynolds, I'm not opposed to making him the everyday right fielder, or even the everyday. I'll keep him in right field. I like Mango Mountain left. So, that's probably where I have him right now.
Yeah, gives the Pirates just a ton of options. I think that most of his time at first base will be against left-handed pitching. This season, O'Hearn basically didn't have any splits against righties and lefties. He was around 275, 280 against both lefties and righties. I didn't look too hard into how many at-bats it was, but he was playing every day. So it's not like the Orioles or the Padres were trying to hide him against left-handed pitchers. I'd expect him to play a lot of first base when they're facing lefties. And you bring up a good point with Bryan Reynolds. I haven't looked too deep into Reynolds' defensive metrics recently.
Oh, they're bad.
I know they're bad, but O'Hearn was perfectly fine defensively. It was a limited sample size. I don't know if he was playing 25 games in the outfield because of how the Padres and Orioles are constructed, whether it was his own own body and not wanting to be out there that often. I don't know exactly what went into their decisions, but I do think there's a likelihood that he plays a solid amount of outfield for the Pirates as well, just because that's something they need, regardless of what they do.
So I'll ask you this now, Colin. I mean, what's next? Where do you look around the diamond right now? I think you feel fine at first base between O'Hearn and Horowitz. You feel pretty good at second base with Lowe. Shortstop, going to be pretty good, I'd have to imagine here soon.
At some point.
Yeah. And then you look at the outfield. I mean, I feel like between Reynolds, O'Hearn, Mangum, García, and Cruz, you've got 3 out of those 5 who are going to, I mean, those 5 can take you through a season and probably give you the best outfield production. So now you look at third base, you look behind the plate, maybe DH still, probably not. I mean, what are you trying to do? And is your next move, if you're a GM, is it through free agency or is it through trade?
Yeah, what I'm interested in seeing is how this affects the Pirates moving forward. Looking at where their payroll projects right now, it's right around 93, 94 million.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got this definitely affects their flexibility somewhat, but I don't think they're definitively done. I don't think this is it. I do think maybe you'll have to get a little bit more creative now. I don't think that they have the $25 million to go out and sign someone major, but maybe you make a trade for some payroll flexibility. Maybe I do think a trade would probably be more likely. What I'd like to see them do is go out and sign a right-handed bat. I think that that's something that they're still kind of looking for. I think that you're pretty left-handed heavy right now, which is a good thing at PNC Park. That's how it should be. But when you've got Oneil, Cruz, Brandon Lowe, Ryan O'Hearn as your lefties, as your boppers in the middle of the lineup, wherever they end up slotting them, you kind of need a right-handed complement. Bryan Reynolds is that sometimes, but I would like to see them go out and sign, whether it's a third baseman, whether it's trading for like an Alec Boehm, whether it's going out and signing someone like Marcell Ozuna to be your primary DH. I think that it's worth adding some right-handed depth as well, even though it is still good to be primarily left-handed.
I've got 2 moves in mind. I think Okamoto is the guy that obviously, I mean, you've reported on that they're still interested in. And when you see the price that Murakami signed, it seemed like he had a higher market value than Okamoto. So maybe
they expected that. I think things got really weird there, but I don't know if they necessarily have the space left for Okamoto as currently constructed. But I don't know what his market currently looks like. He was projected anywhere between 3 and 36 and 4 and 78.5 at the start of the offseason. Obviously, the top end, I don't think that there's the 20 million in there, but if he's still in the 12, sure. Make that happen. That fits a lot of needs.
Another move that I could be sold on is maybe trading some prospects for a guy like Adley Rutschman in Baltimore. I mean, you look, they have not touched this farm system yet. I mean, you could say Burrows was a prospect. I mean, he had a full rookie year last year, right? And I mean, Oviedo certainly wasn't. And I know they threw a couple of very low-level prospects in the Oviedo deal, but I don't know. I look at guys like Esmeralyn Valdez. I look at Antoine Kelly. I mean, you could even go up a little higher on that rung, like a Tamar Johnson or a Thomas Harrington. And if you want to trade one of them for a Boehm or an Adley Rutschman or someone who can just give you, a 2-win season at either third base and catcher, I think that's solid. I mean, yeah, the way I look at it, like Triolo is a really solid 10th guy. I don't love the idea of him being your everyday third baseman for a whole season. I think if someone gets injured, you're fine with him filling in. Mm-hmm. But that's probably the spot where you really need to figure out next is third base, because catching at the end of the day, Davis at the very least gets more from your pitching staff because he's good defensively and everyone trusts him. And if you had to sacrifice one of those spots in the lineup to make sure your team's greatest strength is operating at full force, I'm totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. And that's also why you traded for Ro Flores and you have Joey Bart to give you a little bit more of a boost offensively. So third base, I think that's the primary focus. That and maybe some low-level bullpen signings. That's the story. That's the remaining story of this offseason.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see them go and address the bullpen a little bit more. I could use talk with Jason earlier today. Like we'd like to see them go out and sign a lefty starter, someone like a Jose Quintana, some type of pitcher there. I know I've talked with you about that as well.
Yeah, but not Nestor Cortez, by the way. He's injured, so not him.
Noah has been informed that Nestor Cortez is broken at the moment.
Listen, I got a lot. I'm covering all sports now, people. Okay, you know I'm not 100,000% plugged into the baseball world like I used to. That's what I have bees for.
That is my job, and I that's my fault. It's my fault that you didn't know that Nestor Cortez was injured. But regardless, like this signing, I don't know if it doesn't make them a World Series contender.
No,
it gets them closer towards playoff contention. I wouldn't say fully there yet, but it gets them closer. At a bare minimum, I'd say the Pirates got better today, and they checked something off of your Christmas list, Noah.
Yes, they did. Santa came early. Festivus. It's a feat of strength rather than an airing of grievances. And Colin does not understand any form of pop culture, especially things that occurred before he was born. So he has no idea what I'm talking about. But to all the Seinfeld fans out there, I hope you enjoy that reference.
I haven't seen Seinfeld, but I do know what Festivus is. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm trying my
best.
All right. No, I gave Jason a chance for a Christmas send-off. I guess we can do 2 in one day. Any Christmas message you want to pass on to our loyal watchers?
No, I just appreciate everyone who regularly tunes in to this channel, who reads all of our work at post-gazette.com, who gets the paper delivered to them. I mean, I'm not saying this jokingly. Like, they're the reason we can enjoy what we do for a living. We can buy our loved ones Christmas presents and travel the country covering baseball and football and basketball and hockey and everything else to write good stories for them to enjoy. So thank you all for your continued support, and I hope you all have a happy holiday season.
Yeah, thank you guys. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thank you all for watching. We will talk to you very soon.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.